Welcome to Self-Centered. It is my belief that everyone in North America, male and female, should work 3 jobs before they're allowed to go to university. They should work a year in retail, a year in a call center, and a year in food service. And the reason why is all 3 of them will teach you pretty much the same thing. They'll teach you 2 main lessons. 1, patience while you're being yelled at. Persistence in the face of adversity that tends to be disgustingly rude. 2, it'll teach you that most people are pigs. And maybe it'll make better people out of us. All 3 of them have many commonalities. They are service-oriented. They have goals that you are not allowed to really impact at all, or have any kind of participation in setting. And all 3 of them are dealing with the public. Sometimes in groups, sometimes one at a time. The first thing you'll learn is that old saw that so many people love to trot out, which is the customer is always right. No. The customer is always right came about in the late 1800s and was a term created by a couple of big marketing folk that worked for, because at that time you didn't work for a marketing company, you worked for a department store, at several department stores, as a counter to, as a response to caveat emptor, buyer beware, as a marketing tool. The customer is always right is a slogan. It's not the truth at all. It's the same as this soap will make you look lovely. The customer is always right was because at the time people preferred shopping at the little independents, the mom and pop stores. They didn't trust the big department stores. We've completely turned that around now, haven't we? So the customer is always right was born because that brought people in. It did not take into account dishonesty, unrealistic expectations, or simple misuse. And there are always people that are going to misuse whatever they can get their hands on because people like free. I have held something in my hands that's been 70% off and they've argued that it should be cheaper. The educated customer is often right. Not always, but often. And that is the way most people who work in those businesses should approach it. Most of them don't. Most of them approach it in a defensive manner because they're waiting for you to rip them apart. Because that's what customers do. Before I go any further, allow me to put in this disclaimer that should have been at the start, that this is not the opinion of any of the companies I have ever worked for, dealt with, or spoken with. This is only my opinion as somebody who has experienced all 3 of those employment fields, who has spoken to the people who have worked there. Not the management, not the owners, not the supervisory staff, the frontline staff, the people that deal with customers. I could probably add hotel folk into this too, but there's a little difference there. It is an antagonistic environment. It is a push back and forth. Here's what we have at this price. Well, we want it cheaper. Well, okay, we'll do specials and flyers and coupons, and well, we want it cheaper. Well, yeah, you know, in Guatemala it's cheaper than it is here. Well, yeah, but we're not in Guatemala. Well, you know, over in Denmark, these cost less than, well, that's because they're made there and there's no shipping. We're not there. We can't give you that price. You know, I've heard, well, yeah, hearing is great. Many people who work within these fields, particularly if they're there for any length of time, and I've been there for a long time compared to the average amount of time someone spends in those fields, try to be creative and try to satisfy the customer's needs within their power. sometimes edging just a little out of what you should do. The exception does not prove the rule, but the exception often becomes the rule, because what you offer one guest or customer or caller is something that you then have to offer everybody, because word gets around. Oh, hey, if you call this helpline, they'll give you 20% off. Okay, everybody's calling now. What it shows among customers, and it's interesting to watch, and this is why I say everyone in North America, even if you've just moved here, you're 42 years old, you've just moved here from somewhere overseas, you've landed, you want your immigrant status, excellent. For your first 3 years, you're going to work in these 3 jobs. And then we can discuss what else you're going to do. Because what customers show is a complete and total lack of respect to staff and product. Why would you get in someone's face and insult them and yell at them? Why on the phone is it okay for you to scream at somebody and call them names because they're doing the job that they're paid to? Why do you not find a way to go after the company, to go after the people who are making the rules for doing this? Why don't you answer reasonable requests? I worked call centers for about 9-10 years. I worked retention, among other jobs. I worked tech support. I've worked sales. Retention is simple. They want to know, why are you leaving? I listened recently to an audio clip of somebody who recorded trying to cancel with Comcast, and the question was simple. Why do you want to leave Comcast for someone else? Because we want to. There is a form to fill out. At the end of the day, somebody is going to look at that and go, why are all these people leaving? We hopefully would like to change things so they stay. You're not helping. You're being an obstinate, pig-headed bitch. Really. Or bastard. Or, my pardon for the sexist insult, but really, you're being a problem. You're not being a solution. People don't work towards solutions these days. People merely want to be problems. And again, it's a generalization. It does not apply to everyone I know. But if you come to me with a problem without an idea of your options or your potential solutions, or, without even a desire to look for solutions, all you're doing is whining. And whining gets nowhere. Whining irritates people. I'm not allowed to say nice guy, a good person. I put up with whining far too much because I'm patient. But I try to edge the person towards a solution. Options. There are always options. You may not like all the options. There are always options. I'm going to talk about retail because that's my most recent experience. And it's a physical, visceral, hands-on experience. Why do you go to a store, any store, pick something up, wander around and drop it someplace else? I have found cheese sitting on the top of a mess of sweaters. I have found a sweater in the cookie aisle. I have found cookies in the electronics area by the cameras. Why? First of all, the cheese is no good anymore. Once it's out of the cooler area, might as well write it off. You don't know how long it's been out there. Yogurt, milk, all these perishables. And you just leave them wherever. Why? Do you know how much product in North America, grocery stores and stores with grocery components, like various pharmacies and drug stores, big box stores, do you know how much they have to throw away that is a loss that you are now paying for? Because, well, they have to take that into account. Businesses are in the business of making money, not losing money because you're an unthinking idiot. Why do you fill your shopping cart half full of stuff and leave it tucked behind the magazine rack, stuffed in a corner of the underwear aisle? Did you forget your debit card? If you go to the checkout, you can tell them this, they'll hold stuff for you while you race home, get your money, go to the bank, whatever you need, so you can pay for it. We'll do what you need us to do. Just tell us what it is that you want us to do. Why do you, when there are mirrors to check the new shoes you're trying on right there by the shoes, insist on carrying the shoes across the store where there's another mirror by the sweaters, try on the shoes, kick them off and leave them there? And not just one pair, 5 or 6 pair. Why do you pull the box of shoes out, try them on, dump the box, leave the shoes in the middle of the aisle, and walk away because they're not what you want? What does it... Oh yes, the employees. It's their job to clean up after you. No, it's not. It's not your mother's job to pick up after you anymore. I sometimes dread going to these people's houses to see the mess that they have. I also think if I go, to be nice and neat and clean. I now want to open their closets, pull stuff out, go, this is a great little jacket, and dump it on the floor. Because that's what you're doing. You spend 8 hours a day at work. That's as much as your home is. People are invested in work. People, it is their career. It is, even if it's just a paycheck, it's where you kind of want to be, if nothing else, to pay the rent. So why do you go into someone's home, open the drawers, and dump their stuff all over the place? And unfortunately, I hate to say this, it definitely sounds racist if nationalist, something, if Canada is a race or a nation or whatever, that the bulk of the people that do it, and I'm trying not to generalize, I'm going through my experience and the experience of those I have spoken with, the bulk of the people that do it, that treat product they haven't bought with such disrespect, that treat the employees with such disrespect, tend to be first-generation Canadians. Here, I don't know about the States. I've talked to a few people, but I haven't really gotten there. And by first generation, I mean they've moved here during their lives. They were born someplace else, and they've come here. And it's not from any one part of the world. It's from all over. It is from, well, not the US, because again, we Canadians have a lot in common with them, but it's from everywhere that's not North American. It's as if, well, I've moved here and I'm enjoying your country, but you need to cater to me hand and foot. No, I don't. We don't. You know what? Become Canadian. Be polite and respectful. Wow, that became nationalistic out of talk about retail really quickly. Canadians also do it. Not as often. Call center calls are the worst. It's why I eventually left call centers, because they will suck your soul out faster than a redhead with no freckles. They will completely deaden you. My fiance at the time told me I needed to quit because who I was when I worked there and who I was when I did not was two completely different people. It will make you bitter and angry because people will abuse you so easily on the phone. Same thing with the internet. There's no human connection. It's easy to call someone an idiot, an unthinking fool, a tool of the company, a Nazi, whatever you want to call them. It's easy to get angry with somebody online. Almost as easy on the phone. Not so easy face to face, but people still do it. Here's something to think about. If you've gone through a lot of these phone calls with companies, gone to stores, and consistently had what you think is bad customer service, it might just be that you're a bad customer. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for watching Elf Center. I hope you have a fantastic day, and be nice to people. That's, if I could ask anything of you, one thing ever, that'd be it. Be nice to people. Till next time.